The newest class of mega cruise ships are engineering marvels that span nearly 1,200 feet. They cost roughly $2 billion to build, and they have a strict 25-year countdown to earn that money back before they age out of the fleet. Keeping one of these floating cities running requires constant maintenance, non-stop cleaning, and millions in fuel. Yet a traveler can buy a daily ticket for around $150, the price of a mid-tier hotel room with lodging, transportation, and a buffet included. That upfront fare rarely covers the actual cost of the trip. The cruise line utilizes the cheap ticket as a loss leader, absorbing an initial deficit to acquire your physical presence in their controlled environment. This chart shows how the math actually works. Once the ship leaves port, you are a captive audience. If you want Wi-Fi, it costs $20 to $40 a day. A drink package runs another $60 to $100 a day. Without a corner store nearby, the daily upcharges quickly dwarf the original ticket price. Scanning that initial ticket grants you entry into a corporate walled garden, where the cruise line holds a total monopoly on your consumption. While passengers lounge by the pools, a massive logistics operation runs below deck. Thousands of pounds of supplies move through a ship-length hallway called I-95 to keep the floating city fed. Feeding 7,000 people is an enormous financial liability. Every tray of over-prepared food represents profit lost through wasted ingredients and labor. To control these costs, cruise lines implement a strict measurement system. Staff physically weigh every tray of food before it leaves the kitchen for the buffet line. When the meal window ends, discarded leftovers are weighed to calculate the gap between what was produced and what was actually eaten. The company uses this data to dictate tomorrow's prep, allowing them to shave costs by shrinking portion sizes. The all-you-can-eat buffet functions as an algorithmic loop. Every tray you touch becomes a data point used to eliminate waste and maximize the corporate margin. Pushing a steel structure the size of a skyscraper through the ocean requires massive energy. Marine fuel is measured in metric tons and accounts for roughly 10% of a cruise line's total operating expenses, representing their most volatile vulnerability. To mitigate these fuel costs, the industry shifted toward destinification. By outfitting ships with water parks, malls, and theaters, they changed the traveler's expectation of the trip. This design shift provides a massive financial payoff. Because the boat itself is now the attraction, the company can utilize tight, slow-moving circular routes in the Caribbean, allowing the ship to sail slower and burn less fuel. These massive onboard attractions serve a dual purpose. They entertain the passenger while functioning as a mechanical strategy to keep the boat moving slowly, preserving the corporate margin by burning less fuel. Shorter routes traditionally mean docking at public ports. However, when a ship docks in a real city, passengers spend money at local businesses, leaking revenue away from the cruise line. The corporate solution is the private island. Resorts like Coco Cay and Celebration Key are closed ecosystems wholly owned by the cruise line. In these environments, you are free from local market competition. The company can demand extreme upcharges, such as daily cabana rentals that often cost more than the cruise ticket itself. By purchasing these islands, cruise lines extend their walled garden onto dry land. They ensure that local economies get nothing, while the corporation captures every single dollar spent. This extraction model also relies on legal geography.
Through maritime admiralty law, ships operate under foreign registration, often called flags of convenience. Flying a foreign flag allows U.S.-based companies to legally bypass U.S. labor laws. They pay international crews fraction wages, with many workers earning less than $20,000 a year. Companies use industrial way stations like Ensenada, Mexico, to satisfy specific legal loopholes. Foreign-flagged ships bypass heavy U.S. fines for domestic transport by forcing a mandatory stop at a nearby foreign port before returning to the States. The entire labor structure is an engineered legal fiction. The industry utilizes offshore laws to suppress wages while relying on automated passenger gratuities to subsidize the payroll. Facing pressure for sustainability, the industry has publicized a pivot to liquefied natural gas, or LNG, as a green fuel alternative. This pivot includes a significant flaw known as the methane slip. These maritime engines fail to burn all the fuel, leaking raw methane, an invisible, potent gas, directly into the atmosphere. While CO2 emissions are slightly reduced, the unburned methane escaping the stacks is 80 times more potent for short-term global warming. The entire operation, from the portion-controlled food to the privatized islands and offshore labor, is designed to convert your presence into profit. The modern megaship functions as a ruthless wealth extraction machine. Within this ledger, you cease to be a passenger and become a tracked, highly profitable data point.